Hello and welcome back to How the Did I End Up in Prison? Here we are 2 days before trial. It was a Sunday. We went to church that morning, Martin and I, and then I dropped him off at his attorney's office across the street. I went over to Publix to do some shopping, just to hang out while he was being supposedly prepped for trial. Within about 15-20 minutes, he called me and said, they've offered me a deal. I didn't know anything about anything at that point. I said, what do you mean a deal? He said, well, they've offered if I don't go to trial, if I plead guilty, don't go to trial, then no jail time and just 12 years of probation. I said, well, that seems like a long time. So he said, what do I do? I remember stopping and I said, I don't know what to tell you. I said, I don't know anything about any of this. So I went over there. He came out with a piece of paper in his hand. And he said, I have until tomorrow to decide. I said, all right. So we went back to his house and we read over. And I will say, this print was so small, it was covering the first page. It was on the second page. It might have even been a third or fourth page. But if you agree to this, if you sign your name and say you did this, and you agree to take this punishment, even though it sounds better than prison, then you're saying for the first time in 2 years that you did that. He said, well, I didn't do it. I didn't. I said, I know you didn't, or I wouldn't be here. I said, but that's, to me, this is an admission of guilt. I said, that's the only way I know to interpret this. We prayed about it that night. We agonized over what to do. The next morning, Martin calls his attorney and says, no deal. No deal. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.